So recently I went on a trip to San Francisco. Maybe wondering why did I do that? I did it because I wanted to. Well, technically, my first time in San Francisco was when I was on like a plane flight and it stopped there and took on the plane. But I didn't get to see anything, so it doesn't matter. But this time I actually went to San Francisco. I stayed for 2 nights there. I took an 11-hour train ride to San Francisco and another 11-hour train ride back. Honestly, I like the rides. I don't mind them. I don't mind the 11-hour waits. It's just kind of fun sitting there, enjoying and watching the view as it goes by. And the views are very pretty. By the way, I use Amtrak. If you don't know, Amtrak, great service. Gets me where I need to go. Pretty cheap for what it does. I'm not gonna lie. So here are my first few essential tips for first-time goers of San Francisco. Number one, when looking for places to stay, do not go to the Tenderloin. Now, you may be wondering to yourself, what is the Tenderloin? Where is that? What are you talking about? So if you spent any time on the internet looking for the best things to do in San Francisco, you may have come across some articles saying, avoid the Tenderloin. Why? Because when I tell you there are homeless people there, there are homeless people there. That's not to dehumanize them. Obviously, they have very bad circumstances in their lives. They can't provide for themselves. You literally can't go 10 feet without meeting a homeless person in the Tenderloin. This is just not possible. And it's just not safe. If you have any desire to have a good time in San Francisco, just do not go. By all means, do not go into the Tenderloin. Now, if we're talking about hotels, also stay away from the Tenderloin. Even if it's super cheap, just don't. It's not worth it. Get something a little bit more expensive. You're going to thank yourself later. Don't worry. The reason I say this is because I made that mistake of buying an apartment in the Tenderloin and it wasn't ideal. The reason I'm saying this is because after I booked that hotel in the Tenderloin, I started looking at the area and realized it is not safe there. So I booked a new hotel somewhere else that's a little bit more expensive, and it was infinitely much better than having to walk through the Tenderloin. Because when I got to San Francisco, I looked up the wrong address for my hotel and I went to the initial Tenderloin spot that I booked, and when I got to the place I recognized that, hey, this isn't the hotel I wanted to go to. So I walked into the heart of the Tenderloin through streets of homeless people, feeling very unsafe. And so now I was like, okay, I'm kind of brain dead, I need to get out of here. So I booked it right out of the Tenderloin. Number two, if you were a tourist like me and you want to see as much as you can as easily as possible, and if you don't have a car, they have a really great system there just for people like you and me. Because I didn't have a car when I went to San Francisco, I had to walk around, which is not ideal. And Uber in San Francisco is much more expensive than it would be in a residential town or a place with much better traffic. Let's just be real. So what am I talking about? What is this great system that is so good for tourists to use and to get around and see everything they want to see? Well, that system is the on-off bus. Or the mega bus, something like that. I don't know. I'll put a picture on the screen and you'll see it. The on-off bus is a really great system. $59 is what I paid for it. Really great, worth all the money. You purchase a ticket. I think it's like a 24-hour pass kind of thing. The one-time purchase, you buy that, and the buses come like every 15 minutes to like the same spots, and you can hop onto one bus and get off. Then when a different bus comes again, you just hop onto that one. No more payments needed. Just hop on, hop off. They give you a little brochure, a little pamphlet. I don't know where it is actually. They give you a little brochure like this. Big Bus, First Stop Adventure, San Francisco. Now, to stop from confusion, this is not a map. See, as you can see on the map, I'll put like a picture. It has about 16 stops on it, and these are all the places that it takes you. And for me, I was at Union Square, the number 5 stop, right? I hopped onto the bus, and it drove me through all of the other spaces. And every time they stopped, I could have hopped off, took pictures, did whatever, come back to the same stop again, and there'd be another bus there that eventually come. And I'll hop onto that one, go to the next stop. That simple, that easy. It's a giant loop. It lasts almost all day. It was quite literally a lifesaver for me because I would have had to Uber or try to find other ways of transportation throughout the city when they literally have just this for tourists. That simple. Just look up any of the locations there and you'll see like reservations online, but I think that just makes it a bit more complicated. I think you can just go to the spots in person and just be like, hey, I want to buy a ticket for the on-off bus. There are people at some of the stops to help you out. I know for a fact that the one I went to, the Union Square one, number 5, there were a good amount of people there like to assist you in like purchasing a ticket in one of these. So I think a good bet would be to go to Union Square. I know there's a shop. There's like an actual shop for this at number 16 Pier 39. I think you can just look it up. Same name as the thing. It's like right next to McDonald's as well. Pretty useful information if you ask me. Then for tip number 3, I think you can walk around the entire city in like a day. Even if you didn't have a car, you could probably still get around the city. So you don't need to stress. As long as you have your map, your Google Maps, whatever, you have a phone, you're good Don't let your phone die because you can get lost very easily, end up in the wrong corner, yada yada yada. And I think that's pretty much it. Just the stay away from the Tenderloin and use the Big Bus San Francisco. Bye.